But before we start the review, don't forget to like and also subscribe and share with your friends. Also, we got brand new videos dropping every Wednesday. If you also love discussions on the hip hop culture as well, don't miss the Cranium Bloggers podcast that also happens every Monday and Thursday.
Jensen Karp sent me an email. He said, we're here in the writer's room on Drop the Mic at TBS, and Method Man says you're one of his all-time favorites, and you have to get down here and come meet Meth and come work on the show with us. And I was like, oh,
Hello and welcome to another edition of Sell Reviews on Statistic TV. We are reviewing a brand new album today by none other than San Francisco native known as Blimes, who used to go by the name of Blimes Brixton, on a late debut album called Castles. I don't know exactly when her career actually started, from when I started looking into it. It seems like it's 2015, that's when it pretty much started. And she was touring with LA rapper Galvin. She's done a lot as well, but there's no bigger highlight than 2018. 2018 was her year. She has achieved quite a lot in that year. She had went viral from the hit Come Correct, which features on this album, and it's actually hit 10 million views on YouTube. Not just this, she's also done a collaboration with Method Man, who is classic of the classic of the classic. And in fact, to be honest, when I heard that track Hot Damn, which also features on this album, I was blown away. In fact, it is part of the reason I was really anticipating. I'm really waiting for this album eagerly, simply because of that collaboration alone. And also and also in that same year, she's also released the lead single to her album called Snakeskin Boots, which premiered over here in the UK, and it was premiered by none other than Annie Mac on BBC Radio 1. It was also given further plays by Nick Grimshaw on BBC One Extra. In the States side, she's also received a lot of, she's also received support for the same single as well, with Ebro on Beats One, who you may know from Hot 97 with Ebro in the Morning. And pretty much she's also had publication from Hip Hop DX Complex on this same single. So I'll be lying if I didn't say that single, as well as the collaborations in 2018, made it very, very successful. But nothing capped off this success more than joining together with Gifted Gab, who is from Seattle, and basically they came together to get the bag and call themselves Bag.
Blimes and Gab, you know what I'm saying?
Blimes and Gab, baby.
B-A-G.
Yes, after they formed this alliance, this hip hop duo, they went on a slew of freestyles on Sirius XM morning show. They have also received plaudits from Rod Digger, De La Soul, you name it. Those two as a collective have also received praises, as well as individually, even from myself, if I do say so. Gifted Gab is got, as well as Blimes, she has also got a bright future ahead of her, especially with the success of her debut EP called Queen Latifah. Apologies if I got the debut part wrong, but that's the first EP I've heard of her, and it was fire. It was complete fire. I'm looking forward to hearing what more these two have to say, but for today we're just gonna focus on Blimes. For this album, immediately, right off the bat, she captures your imagination. The lead single, like I said, that was produced by Redinho, it's got a very well balanced theme to it. In fact, the way it started, you would think it's a trap kind of song. However, when the track breaks down, it becomes a more boom bap influence. And with the fact that it started off with such an eclectic energy, it was quite in its hi-fi kind of status. It was later grounded by the drums, by the drum patterns in this as well. Like, I was quite impressed with the instrumentation and the performance that Redinho gave to this particular track. And also, I was personally, I was actually quite impressed with the flow, as well as the style that this album actually represented. I was also impressed by the fact that she kept a very consistent tone throughout the entire album. She didn't really miss that. However, that being said, there was quite something that struck me as not just odd, but also very admirable at the same time. I came across an article which basically which she gave an interview to a magazine, and she revealed in that article that she was part of the LGBTQ community as well, like, you know, and she talks about the struggles of her in hip-hop, as well as, you know, of her being an LGBTQ as well as a woman in hip-hop. She talked about that, and you know, this was quite an insightful interview from me, because I didn't even know this side. I would have loved, like, me knowing that and me hearing this album after reading up those information, like those pieces of information. I was like, I would have liked for you to explore this, but at the same time, it's kind of admirable that you don't want people on your debut album to know that side about you, or to even look at your gender as something to be, you know, to be a discussing point. I know it sounds a bit contradictory here from myself, simply because of the fact that you know, like, because I said I wanted her to kind of talk a lot more about her struggles with LGBTQ, like being accepted in hip hop as a woman as well, because this is quite a double whammy. This is quite a triple whammy of a story, like, you know, like to present onto the film. But at the same time, it's quite admirable that she doesn't want to use this to elevate her career. She just wants to introduce her to you. It would have been interesting to hear what she had to say, but at the same time, me not hearing it has not taken anything away from the album, simply because of the fact that there was so much that was catch up in there to demonstrate how much her life has changed. I mean, like, she was able to, like, the transitions were all calls, like, you know, you get the starting point where she's in her hometown, and then she gets a call to Staten Island. She travels to Staten Island. She records everything that was happening in Staten Island, and then she gets a call from France. She goes to France. She wrote stories. In fact, in France, I think we get a lot more introspection of who she's about. Neon Dreams is probably the one that stood out the most. It seemed like when she realized that she was in Paris and she woke up in Paris, it seems to me that from here she took time to actually sit back and think, look at all of this. The tracks in this section of the album was lo-fi inspired, like, you know, it was quite mellow. It's quite, you can pretty much relax and jam to this one. To be honest, it's a very good album to show what she's been through in just a space of a year. It, like, you know, like, maybe you may not have received it as I've just received it, but like I said, I personally think that this is an album that you should go and check out. It, like, everything about it was really good. It's definitely, like, to me, like, yeah, it's definitely worth buying on iTunes. You know, get that album copy. I gave it a personal rating of 82%. Stylistically and flow wise, I really loved how much she pushed her artistry. I really loved the different sounds that she experimented, and still managed to keep her core sound intact. Like, she didn't really stray too much from the lo-fi hip-hop influence kind of tracks that she pretty much, you can tell that this is her influence. This is her piece of artistry. She didn't really stray much from that, as much as she was trying out different type of sounds. I personally think that Neon Dreams is personally my personal, I mean, second to Hot Damn, because that's a classic. But Neon Dreams is my personal kind of cut away from this that wasn't really a lead single. In fact, a lot of songs that were not lead singles, like Come Correct, Hot Damn, and Snakeskin Boots were. I personally think there's a lot you can cut away from this album, and it still sounds hot. It's a really good piece of work, and I like, you know, I know I'm raving on about it, and I know I'm rating it highly, but it really is that good. Once again, thank you so much for checking out this review. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are, so let me know in the comments below. Like you know, this new format of reviewing, like, you know, like not really trying to break down every facet, like the story, local display and all that, not really like that, but I'm more like, for me, I had to go back to the drawing board, and, like, you know, to bring back a kind of conversation driven, because how can I really talk about an album with you guys if I'm just breaking down every layer? You know, I feel like this is more comfortable for me. It's very comfortable. I go straight to the point. I present a lot of the things that I actually wanna talk about with you guys. And overall, I like this new system, and I think I'm gonna stick with it. At first, it was an experiment, but I'm actually gonna stick with it. So yeah, let me know what you think about this album in the comments. Like I said, I was pretty impressed with the fact that she retained a very consistent tone throughout. The fact that she tried so much of her artistry. A lyrical display on this album, even though I did not like one song from the album, which is Worker in Paris, she still had this very solid lyrical display overall. So I cannot fault that aspect of her game. Like overall, like I said, 82% for me is the best rating that I can give her. She has a lot to do, she has a lot to improve on, and I think that she is definitely going to have a very bright future in this.